time to draw on our mats. For this, you're gonna need your mat, marker, and a ruler or a tape measure of some sort, something to measure distance and for straight lines. I'm using a white mat, black marker, make it a little easier for you to see. Most of my mats are black, and for those I'll use a silver marker or something. It doesn't have to show up so well, but I want for this video for you to be able to see it. Disclaimer, I'm a terrible artist. I have terrible handwriting. We'll see how this goes. My girlfriend is a professional artist, so maybe I'll have her remake the second round of this with like prettier drawings. So first up, we need a line down the middle. The way we do that, measure out your mat. Mine is exactly 26 inches wide, so 13 inches down the middle, I'm gonna make little dots, starting from the top. Every 13 inches, just a little dash. There's probably smarter ways to do this, so let me know. Okay, so just making our marks. This will be the middle line of the mat. It's going to be important for our feet, like when we're standing in Samasthiti, one of your feet just straddling the middle line. For certain poses, like triangle pose or warrior two, you want both your feet to be in one line because your hips are open and it's kind of it's one plane there. For other poses, like revolve triangle or warrior one, where your hips are square to the top of the mat, you want your feet to be on either side of the mat. That's what we're going to use this middle line for. So if it's a triangle or something with your hips open, both feet on the line. If it's something with your hips squared to the top of the mat, revolve triangle, warrior one, anything pyramid with your hips square, left foot on the left side, right foot on the right side. And so I have my dots. Time to connect the dots. Make sure I can see a few dots here. One straight line. Okay. So far so good. My dots, line them up. Or if you get anxiety doing this, I do too. It's just a yoga mat. And this is just your first draft of making lines. You can always draw more lines after the fact. Okay, almost got my center line. Looks pretty good. So it is not perfect. Definitely not perfect, but whatever. It's got a left half and a right half. Now we're going to draw the top of the mat. I'm going to make a mark 12 inches from the top of the mat here. Because a lot of times when I say come to the top of the mat, like Samasthiti, let's begin, I don't want you standing at the top edge of the mat, because then there will be no space for you. So we got our top of the mat here. I'm standing on top of the mat, so I guess it's all the top of the mat. Let's draw it on the back as well, because sometimes you'll be at the back of the mat, or you don't always have to put your mat down one exact way, especially if we're doing a circular flow. You might end up at the back of the mat in Samasthiti. It'd be nice to know where it is. Okay, where my dots at. There we go. Okay, got a little crooked there, but all right, so we got a middle line and tops of the mat. So when we come to Samasthiti, that's where you can put your big toes. We do it this way so that when we're doing our sun salutations, you could put your fingers in line with your toes. That'd be a nice stretch. You could put your knuckles, the roots of your fingers in line with your toes. That would allow you to lean forward a bit more. Or you could put the heels of your hands or even beyond in front of your toes to give you more space to press up, float up, and float back. So you like to think of it as hands further back, you're working on flexibility. Hands further forward, you're working on strength and pushing. Looks pretty good so far. All I want to mark now are just a few hand positions. So I'm going to measure my shoulders. It's going to be very inexact, but it's okay. Put it on the outside of my shoulder here. Flatten it here to the other outside of my shoulder. And I see they are 21 inches wide to the outside of my shoulders. Could be 22, I don't know, I'm kind of curvy, it's probably more like 20. So that would mean 2.5 inches from each side, 26 inches wide minus 21-inch shoulders equals 5 inches divided by 2 equals 2.5 inches from each side. I'm going to make little marks. Here's 2.5. 2.5. Okay. We're all going to be different shoulder widths, and there's different reasons to place your hands at different widths. If you're trying to stack up in a perfectly vertical handstand like this, you want to have narrow hands and narrow shoulders. So you'd want to be inside of your shoulder width, like inside of the outside that we're marking here. If you're going to be doing something with more scapular depression and retraction, you're going to want to have your shoulders wider because they're going to be wider. So you can put your hands even wider than shoulder width. So we'll just get our approximate outer shoulder width lines here. Make some lines. Do it on this side too. We're just about done. 2.5. 2.5. 2.5. And it's not going to be so important that you have everything measured out correctly. It's going to be more important that you have consistent lines on your mat so that you can practice with these lines and learn about your tendencies and realize if you like doing things wider or more narrow or neutral or however. It's just so you can notice, and then on your next round of mat design, you can change it up. Okay, I think that's it. We have the we have the middle line, so we know where to put our feet, whether they're together, hip width, on the same line, like a triangle or warrior two, on either sides of the line, like a revolved triangle or a warrior one. We have our front line, so we know where we can samasthiti and stretch, lean forward a bit more, but still have space to really push into the hands. We have it at the back of the mat as well. And we have these lines. I like to put my index fingers along these lines, so that gives me a slight bit of external rotation. Just let my index fingers go forward, my other 3 fingers splay out. And again, depending on where I want to take my hands, if I want to take it up into a vertical circus handstand like this, my hands are going to be a lot closer than my lines here. If I want to do a more neutral handstand, possibly transitioning through a chaturanga or vinyasa, I want my hands to be about this wide. So get about as wide as there. If we're doing different things, you might want more space for your hands in, or you might want them more stacked and closer together if this is the goal. All right, I'm gonna take some pictures of the mat, and I'll just pull the camera over here really. And I want you to show me your mat. See what we got. That's what I got. Let's see yours.